Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Breakthrough with me, your host, Tess Timmons. Are you traveling to an area that has high altitude? Well, this might happen to you. So, if you've ever experienced high altitude, if you're nervous about high altitude, what the signs are, I'm going to break that down for you because I experienced altitude sickness for the first time in my life this year. I was traveling to Colorado. That's where I'm born and raised from. I have not been home in a year and a half, and I've been living, at that time, I had been living by the ocean for several years. So, sea level, right? And so I went home to Colorado and I was there for a day and a half, and then I flew off to Paris. Then I came back from my travels, and when I was in Colorado again, it happened again. So I had the experience twice. Oh, lucky me. Okay, so what were the signs? When I flew to Colorado that day, I was fine. I was drinking some water, and we had been in the airport and whatnot. And I got home and I stayed at my mom's house. She cooked dinner for us. I ate dinner, felt fine. And then I don't know how much water I was drinking from dinner to bedtime. And my mom and I get to talking. So I think it was about 11 o'clock at night by the time I went to sleep. When I was in bed, I slept for a couple hours, and then all of a sudden I woke up and I felt nausea. And I thought, I don't understand why my stomach hurts. Like, I don't have any other symptoms of like sweatiness or sickness. I don't know what did I eat. I've been thinking about my day. And so for about an hour, I laid in bed thinking, I don't want to puke. But it was that feeling of, it's that, I don't know how in tune you are with your body, but it's that feeling of, hey, in a couple hours, you might puke. Like you're starting to feel nausea. Come on. Like you're not going to puke right now, but like in an hour, you're going to have to like stand up and puke in a bucket. And so I sat in there and I sat in bed and breathed and thought, like, I think you're fine. There's no food poisoning. I don't feel sick. I don't have other flu-like symptoms. This is coming out of nowhere. I feel fine. And sure enough, after that hour, I still felt queasy. So I went into the bathroom and puked my guts out. I really didn't correlate that at that point it was altitude sickness because, again, I'm born and raised in Colorado, but I had not been home in a very long time. So I had some stresses. Like 2 days prior, my teaching job ended. The same day I turned in my keys for teaching, I also had booked a U-Haul and drove 5 hours to my new location of where I moved to. And my parents flew into town to help me drive the U-Haul. After one day at my new place, unpacking furiously, we flew to Colorado. So I was under a lot of like time pressured stress. So then I flew off to Europe. So I flew Calgary Airlines. So I flew to Calgary and was there for a couple hours. Then I flew to Paris. Then from Paris, after about 4 days, I flew to Venice. I was in Venice for 3 or 4 days at Murano and Burano. Why I'm saying this isn't like, ooh, look at me in all these places. I'm telling you geographically, where have I been, right? Because of altitude sickness. So I'm at sea level with Venice. And then we took a train to Rome. That's close to sea level. Then I flew from there, after staying there for 4 days, to Iceland. I was in Iceland overnight and went to the Blue Lagoon. It was awesome. And then from there, I flew to Colorado. So I stayed the night in Iceland and then the next morning flew, and it was an 8-hour flight back to Colorado. So then once I got to Colorado, parents, I don't live there, but I wanted to visit my family. I stayed the night at my mom's house. Was kind of tired, but I had just flown all over the place, right? The next morning, I think it was up until from 6 in the morning until about noon. And then at noon, I went to lay down for a minute and I woke up and it was 7 o'clock at night. So I figured, oh, that was kind of jet lag, but also because I had never stopped. Even from when I had finished my last job, I had never had a moment of rest. So I figured, oh, I needed all the sleep. So I kind of slept that day away. And then the next day, I woke up and I told my mom, I feel queasy. And I was meeting up with some friends and she was like, well, how are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I feel kind of queasy like I did when I first came to Denver. I'm not puking again. But I just feel kind of off. And so I'm going to drink some water and just stay chill. So I ended up going out with some friends of mine, Kim, Chris, and Joey, and they took me to a really like cool bar and Colombian restaurant. And so I did have a couple drinks of alcohol. Now, check this out, altitude sickness. So when we were at the bar, they didn't give us water. And I was so busy like chatting with everyone, I forgot to hydrate. So here I am like already a little bit queasy that morning. And then I drank some water on my way there. Then we had one or two glasses of, I think I had 2 glasses of alcohol, but it was super hot outside and I had no water. So we were there catching up for like several hours. Then from there, we left and we went to a Colombian restaurant. We walked like 2 blocks down. Oh gosh, their food was so good. And there I had a third alcoholic drink and I had 1 glass of water, but the glass was really small. So I'm dehydrating myself, right? So we have to remember to tell the waiter, bring me a pitcher of water and chapstick and all the good stuff. I woke up the next day and I was down for the count. So it wasn't hung over. I felt like it was like, oh, sorry, I have some noise outside, but it felt like sea legs. Now I've never gone on a cruise before, so I don't know like seasickness, but I felt like I was swaying a bit, which is weird because I'm in flat, landlocked Colorado, but I felt like I was swaying a little bit. I kind of felt not pukey, but just disoriented, and I had to sit down. And then when I was going to stand up to go grab my own breakfast, I went to stand up and I still felt like kind of dizzy and like sea swimmy. And so my mom and I Googled like altitude sickness because it just didn't make sense. So when you look at that, physical distress from difficulty adjusting to lower oxygen pressure at high altitude. Most cases of altitude sickness are mild, but some are life-threatening. Symptoms tend to occur within hours after arrival at high altitude and include headaches, nausea, shortness of breath, and inability to exercise. Mild cases may resolve in 1 to 3 days. 1 to 3 days! Severe cases may require oxygen, medication, and moving to a lower altitude. So when I had family from Canada that would come visit, when we had like family weddings and whatnot, they couldn't go up to the mountains. They had to stay in Denver, which is also really high compared to the sea levels of Eastern Canada. So here I am like kind of like a little bit queasy, but now I'm starting to feel like kind of dizzy. So I just sat down. I was very weak, like how it said inability to exercise. I couldn't even like stand and walk to the kitchen. Now I'm pretty active, so that was really weird. So we started Googling like, is this altitude sickness? So at that point, I thought I was going to cure it. This is important. And I chugged like 1.5 glasses of water. I was like, oh, it makes sense. I drank last night. I dehydrated myself. I just need a lot of water. And my clever mother said, be careful because your stomach's churning a little bit and you're about to dump a whole bunch of water in there. Sure enough, didn't listen to my mom. I slammed 1.5 glasses of water and sure enough, I puked up all of it. But what was interesting this time is when I puked, ooh, gross. When I puked, there was no food coming out. So like it was just the water that I had just put in, really rejected. But I would say after I puked, I felt so much better. I did. I like it went away. But then I did remember like hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So a couple things. If you are going into a country or town or city with high altitude and you're a sea level kid, so you want to keep continuously drinking water. I would not drink for the first 2 days that you're there because you don't want to dehydrate yourself. I would also probably not have coffee either. I was drinking coffee. So I would not do coffee. I'd do like kombucha. I would have some green tea. But even with the green tea, keep drinking water and keep hydrated. So when we were in Iceland before I flew back to Colorado, we were in the Blue Lagoon, which is mineraled water. Just like after a massage or something, you should drink water. We ended up getting on the Icelandic airplane and I had a jug of water and I drank that. And then when they gave me water, they gave me a really small cup. So lesson learned, I should have advocated for myself for more water. Icelandic Air doesn't give you much. I know, let it be known. You have to pre-order food on there, or you can order more food. Like even when I asked for tomato juice, which will also dehydrate you, I they were gonna charge me for it. I was like, what? I don't know. Whatever. I get it. Different rules for different airplanes, but I don't know. I'm sick of all the airplane upcharges. So I hope that this helped you. What? She's talking about airplanes. We were supposed to be listening to altitude. Yes, but it all has to do with travel. So I hope that this helps you. Make sure that you are fully hydrated for 2 days before you enter into the place that you're going. Make sure for the first 2 to 3 days you don't have alcohol. I would say for the first 2 days you don't have coffee either, so that you don't dehydrate yourself. If you are doing sauna stuff like I did before entering high altitude or while you're in high altitude, make sure that you're definitely drinking. So it can even happen to me, a kid who was born and raised in Colorado but hadn't been home in a really long time. All right, so I hope that helps you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.